all my crafty friends. I am now moving on to Father's Day cards, right? We've done several Mother's Day cards around here, and I am pretty stoked about the Brass and Bliss new release here for May. And I am always on the struggle bus with Father's Day cards, as the fathers in my life aren't completely like all tool. Well, some are, but tool related or grill related. Or I just think that, you know, Father's Day cards are always so niche. Not that this probably isn't either, but Brass and Bliss came out in perfect timing with a sports related die release. And there are baseball and football ones in here. And I'm going to use both. I love this set, and baseball is pretty big around this household. So the first card we are going to do is with the baseball die set. And my first step in this card is just to take a regular white piece of cardstock and going around using these small and large circle stencils to make a pattern paper. Pretty much, I love that we can make our own pattern paper. I'm also using the color fused dies here to get this red set. I am not going as hard in the middle as you can see there, so that we can get like that halo effect right there. I'm going to cut this down. I think I cut it down a 1/2 inch on each side, if I remember right. Maybe I'll be able to see here in the video, but I do believe it's a 1/2 inch on each side to let that navy paper show through. Yep, 1/2 inch on each side. Yep. And to layer this on the navy paper. I love how that turned out. There we go. And then from there, I did do my die cutting before I came on camera, just because that part I did think was a little boring. Plus, I was trying to figure out how all of the dies lined up and get all my colors situated. I did do a light brown and a dark brown for my glove and bats. Oh, I did forget that I did put this, I'm going to change it up here in a second to do this pattern yellow paper right. This one right here. There we go. Just a simple lined white or white, yellow and white lined paper. I couldn't figure out if I wanted the stripes to go horizontally or vertically. So you will see me cut probably both of those, I believe. I do believe I did like 1.5 inch strip. Here we go. See, I'm going to go, okay, I see that. Do I want... So I'm going to cut both. Sometimes it's just something that you have to like look at, I think. So don't be afraid to cut both and give yourself the chance to look at both. I do believe I go with the horizontal here. Yep, horizontal. I already sent these off to Brass and Bliss, so I don't have the card in hand, unfortunately. We are using our Barely Arts liquid glue, which is one of my favorite liquid glues here. I love this glue. I don't ever feel like, I mean, very rarely does it get clogged up. And honestly, I leave it open way more than I should. So, all right, so here are the dies from this kit. This little glove is so adorable, and we're just gonna layer these. There are laces. There's the example. Trust me, I had to pull out the example a few times, especially for these laces. There are the laces to the glove. You can be as detailed or not detailed as you would like. I end up putting a few of the laces on top, but I honestly thought that I wasn't going to be able to see the other laces, so I didn't bother with those little itty bitty ones. But please go ahead and be as detailed as you would like to be here. I loved the little like X's at the top for those. So I did end up including those. You can see I moved on to something else though real quick. Then the bottom of the bats come with a separate die than the top, so that you can get the grip of the bat down. I will say that the bats are larger and longer, so those did throw me off when I was designing mine. But honestly, what I thought about in the end was they were so long that you could make a pattern of them, like going down, and just do a very simple card with just the bats. I thought that would be so cute because they are almost the length of a card. And I was going to cut some of those out and just make very simple Father's Day cards for all of the dads in our lives that are baseball dads. So there's another idea for you. Just built that baseball. As you can see, that came together very simply. And then here I am. I'm going to fiddle along with this. Now, I ended up thinking, like, if I could have kept the all of the cuts in the paper. I didn't think about it beforehand. You literally could have just done it that way, and they were already in line so that you didn't have to line them all back up. But I had already pushed all of those out of the paper. So next time I do this, I will definitely keep them in the paper. So matching those laces up is much easier. All right. So like I said, I did mix up my browns a little bit for this glove. So just some light brown with some darker brown to create a little bit of depth. You can mix and match these as much as you would like, which I love the customization of it, because like my son's glove, I could have made it, he has a pink and blue glove, and so I thought that that would be super fun to be able to make a glove just like his, for maybe like a birthday card for him down the line. And I think that he would love that. All right, just putting, like I said, I did adjust the laces of the top of the glove because in my head when I was designing this, I thought that the bottom of the glove was going to be covered up. I don't think I ended up getting it covered up, or it does get covered up by a lot of the baseball. I thought that the baseball was going to sit there, but I don't think anybody is going to care too much about the laces not being at the bottom of the glove, guys. To add a little bit of depth to the bats, I did just go around the edges a little bit with some pecan ink from the Color Fuse set. These little ink pads are so good that I just don't have to get out huge ink pads for little jobs like this. I love how they're just very easy to grab and go. And there you go. Like, I'm not doing it the whole bat. I'm just kind of doing the edges. So that, like I said, it shows like a little bit of wear and tear on those bats. So, you know, because if you know anything, you know, we buy these $100 bats and hundreds of dollar bats. And in the first game, they're all nicked up and ready to go because they're hitting balls. You'll never see them as pristine as the first day you get them. I cleaned my stencils and everything off there a second. There we go. So see where I was thinking that the ball was going to go there. I did shift it over a little bit. So I honestly do not think that the laces matter too much. All right, here is where I was going to just like group all those together, but I kept on finding that the bats were going to hang off or they were going to interfere with the title of the Father's Day, you know, sentiment. So you're going to see I'm going to move that around a little bit. I thought this would be a cool idea. I think I seen it somewhere along the way. I'm not sure, of kind of making the sentiment part into like a mini base or a half a base type thing. So I'm going to cut that down and then just take the edges you'll see here. And honestly, I don't do too much measuring. I think I like just cut one edge of it and then put it on my glass mat. I think I'm looking for the stamp to make sure that the stamp actually fits on the piece of paper. Yep, there we go. There we go. And I find the middle point. That's all the measuring pretty much I did is just find the middle point and then take it from there. And I think I end up just trying to find the edge. Yeah, right there. I'm just using my my guillotine and find, you know, the straight point and cut it down. There we go. You're going to see I'm going to mess up though because I do end up using my VersaFine ink here and I smudge it there is about 80% chance when I use my VersaFine ink that I'm going to smudge it. Ugh, I never wait fully for that ink to be dried. I love the crisp blackness of it. I just don't wait for the pigment ink to dry. So, right, we are using our Father's Day stamp set from Brass and Bliss. This is definitely a pretty popular one in my neck of the woods. I like this set. Lots of good sayings, so check that one out. We will put everything that I use in the description below, of course. And yeah, so I just put it at the bottom because in my head this was going to get snuck up against or underneath the glove and underneath that yellow part. Here I am. I'm about to smudge it right there. Look at me touching it. What am I doing? Why do I touch it all so much? I think you're gonna know. I'm gonna notice right here that I smudge it. Yep, there we go. You see my hands go like, what are you doing? So we're gonna redo it. Everything is still in there. I was like, I think I was gonna just flip it over and use the other side, and I think I smudged the back side of it too. So I'm like, I have to recut this. I tell you. I don't know if you're a messy stamper, but let me know in the comments below if you are, because my fingers 95% of the time are the problem in my life. I don't know why. I don't know why I do it. All right, so you're going to get to see this one more time of me cutting it down. Now I was pretty happy with the shape of that also now that I had gotten it cut. So I was like, okay, let me use this as a template a little bit. And I'm sitting there hoping that I don't smudge on the new one. The joys of ink, right? Joys of ink. There we go. I think I more eyeball this one too, don't I? Nope, I do take it out and measure it a little bit. Do the same thing. There we go. Cut that down and we will stamp it out, but we've all seen this. Okay. So let's get back to the card making. I cut some of that out. We don't need to see it twice, right? All right. I think I was actually using my heat gun or my space heater that I usually have going to dry that ink this time. Ugh. And we're going to use our glue again. Put that down. I love how that looks. I tied in a little bit of the Father's Day. Look at me being so careful not to touch that ink. And all right, so now here I'm like, okay, now I got to figure out how to do this cluster. And if you know me or follow me, this is where I don't know how people are so good at this clustering thing. I am not good at it. And you're going to see me pull things up because I'm going to go to put these bats in and I just can't figure out how to get them in without covering up that Father's Day, as you can see right there. And I'm like, oh, God, I shouldn't have glued this all down, right? And I'm like, okay, right there is good. Nope, don't like that. The bats are just a little too long to be this high up as they're going to hang off the card. And I'm obviously going to put this in an envelope. I mean, I am going to hand deliver them, but I just didn't want to deal with that coming off, like that getting bent. Like those are they're not very strong. I could have doubled them up with a couple of pieces of layers, but also did not feel like that. So I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to do here? I'm not sure what I'm doing off screen, but I'm still trying to figure this out. I end up being like, oh, I can crisscross them into the back, I believe. Oh, I'm still trying to work with this. I do leave this in. Here we go. There, I figure it out. I'm like, okay, there we go. If I crisscross them in the very back, and they're the very back layer, I'm going to pull my glove up. Ugh. We're not going to look at that mess. Guys. But you're never going to see that on the card, guys. You're just never going to see that. I left this in here because I just want everybody to know that, like, putting these cards together and sometimes is not, it doesn't just come together sometimes. At least for me, it does not. Like, for others, like, the clusters might come together so easily. But I can never, just have a cluster come together so darn easily. So I wanted to leave that in there. We're going to put down an acrylic block to let all of that dry for a few minutes. I always pick up a little bit while I'm letting that dry. And that is pretty much our Father's Day card. We are going to cut a white card base out, a top folding card base. I am a pretty consistent top folding card base person, if I can, and put in the sentiment from, I believe, the other Father's Day stamp kit. I don't believe it's the same one as that Father's Day, that says you are definitely the best. Maybe if I can convince Brass and Bliss to come out with a sports sentiment type for Father's Day, I think that will be amazing, because they do have like a tool one where it's like you nailed this, or that type of thing. I think that would be so fun. So we're going to put that in the suggestions box if they have one. I'm sure they do, to come out, because they do sometimes. They have the best sentiments. I love their jokey dad jokes type of sentiments. Those are really good. I definitely, they do have some really unique sentiments in their line. So definitely check them out. Of course, always there is, the one stamp set I'm showing you right there. Is this the one? Nope, this is just the regular Father's Day one. The other one that I'm going to pull from is more of the dad joke type stamp set. This one right here. And it's like the one that kind of matches the tools, and it's like what was the one that boys have, what is this? Oh, I can't remember. I'll have to pull it out. But definitely check that out. I'll link it below. But this one was perfect. It said, Dad, you're definitely the best. And it's a perfect Father's Day sentiment for the inside of your card. And that's as much as we're going to do. This will wrap it up. I love all of these quick, easy cards that are coming together. When you have great supplies like Brass and Bliss has been putting out lately, I'm eating it up. I'm eating them all up. So definitely check out the new release. And I will see you guys all in the next one. Talk to you soon.